All right. Welcome to The Roads We've Traveled, episode 14. My name is AJ Pelletier, and thank you guys for tuning in. We got a great guest today, a longtime friend and fellow musician I met along the way in my travels in the music scene, back within the Red. My good friend, Sam Hatch from Sever the Drummer. What's going on, man?
Hey, not much. Good to see you, AJ.
You too.
It's
been a while, man. Like I can't remember the last time I've seen you. I mean, especially playing. I think it was probably the Cherry Street show when you guys released your music video. That might have been the last time I saw you.
Which was probably a few years ago now, I'm thinking. Yeah.
It's so crazy to think about how far ago that was. Oh,
yeah. Even just meeting you was probably when we were shopping for costumes or whatever at that shop in where is that? We were getting stuff for our photo shoot, and you were doing stuff for a music video. I think.
Yeah, I remember now. It was CT Stage in Southington, I think, right?
That's the place. Yeah,
I remember. Yeah, we were filming Weighing Down for In the Red, and what the fuck was I getting? I got a gallon of fake blood.
Nice.
We didn't end up using it all, and I ended up donating the rest of it to the haunted graveyard at Lake Compounds because I used to work there.
Perfect.
Years ago. I totally forgot about that story. That was the first time we met.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I knew of In the Red at the time, but just as a band entity. But you guys, maybe we bumped into each other at a show or something. But that was like we actually introduced one another and that sort of thing.
Oh God, it's so crazy. That was so long ago.
Yeah, I think we were getting like Victorian outfits for like a ghostly photo shoot thing we were doing for our liner notes, and so that must have been, I don't know, 2012 or something like that, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it must have been, because I think that was about the time we were getting ready to release Dark Days Here, which was our debut album. But I'm gonna bite my tongue about a lot that's going on within the Red right now. So I'll talk. We'll talk off air. But let's just say the only original member isn't talking to me anymore. So
all right, enough said, I guess. Yeah.
Anyway, so how's life been during quarantine for you?
It's funny. I was talking with Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder about, because he was dropping an album right around when the first initial lockdown was going, and we were just saying this is the marathon that we trained our entire lives for, because I'm just a pop culture junkie and movie and music nut, but the joke was on me because I've been pretty much busier than ever. I mean, I work thankfully at a job that allows me to work from home full time, so I didn't have to cut down my hours or anything. So I had all this, stuff, in my room and everything. Like I would have loved to have had a little bit of downtime to take some weeks and just check out some movies or whatever. But it's been pretty busy. And then I'm trying to keep going with like podcasts and things like this. And I don't know, it keeps me a little bit fresh and connected. And I really enjoyed doing this. I don't know, at least I can still feel some sort of bond with the outside world in some fashion, even digitally. And it's weird because it doesn't really bother me too much about just not seeing my family. Kind of sucks and everything like that. I haven't seen them in a while. But I'm I was a hermit even going back as a kid. If I had a book and something like that, I was good to go for a while. So it seems to suit my personality. I used to work third shift, so the world was essentially a ghost town then anyway. So it seems to kind of match my personality pretty well. But that said, it does slowly kill me on the inside not being able to go to diners and get some breakfast, and record stores are starting to open back up again, so I can go and like thumb through the crates and things like that. Those are the kind of, I mean, they're not really any, they don't bring any deep meaning to my life on the surface, but like deep down inside they do. There's something about just that experience, like just going out and wasting my day looking at records or getting a bite to eat.
I think it's just more about like now that we can't do it like we used to. You know what I mean? You get that
Yeah.
urge to like. I think I talked about this on a previous episode. It's like it's when your parents tell you no and you
Yeah.
just want to do it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that, and then just having that little bit back definitely feels good. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like things down here in Connecticut are slowly starting to reopen, but I mean, well, you're in
Vernon.
Connecticut. Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, so you know.
Yeah, it's just weird having to like think about like the extra level of thought that goes into, because I'm just used to these being kind of casual fun events, going out and grabbing some records or something. But now it's like there's that extra tactical thing. I have to like keep my eye on the situation. Is there some crazy guy going to come in and start coughing on me? Do I have to karate chop him? There's all these kind of just like things. You're like on edge a little bit. I feel like the character in Fight Club, like I'm just scanning everybody and just kind of keeping tabs on the situation wherever I go. So I don't really relax as much as I used to when I'm out in public, but it's nice having the option.
Yeah, I hear you. And like, I go around like, to the grocery store when I have to and everything like that. And just still seeing the amount of people not wearing masks just like irritates me so much. It's like, I know Connecticut, we're doing good right now.
Yeah.
And phase 3 is on hold right now. But, the rest of the world is the rest of the country, I should say, they're not really like listening. And it sucks because like now we see all these spikes with, the coronavirus and everything, and I know things are never going to go back to normal the way we had them before, but I mean, like, it's just getting so crazy right now. And like now China's got a new form of the swine flu coming out, and then the bubonic plague is back, and it's like, what the fuck is going? Is this the end of days, or are we in like Armageddon right now? Because like it's almost biblical. Like it really is.
Wave of plagues. Yeah. And I was just talking with my wife about the same thing. You were bringing up that whole, like, we in Connecticut are doing okay right now. But it's like, now's the chance where maybe we could, like, think about, enjoying our lives for a little bit. But there's this constant threat of the rest of the country pretty much just sending us back to square one. So, So we're just kind of on edge.
And like, I know people are trying to come to Connecticut now. It's like, no, we don't want you here. Like, no offense, no offense. Like, we're doing okay, and we want to stay okay. Like,
don't visit us in 2022 or something.
Don't bring your virus here. Like, we've had enough deaths.
But I mean, mentally, I've been able to kind of keep it together. I know some of my family have had some issues just kind of dealing with the uncertainty of it, and it's kind of weird not knowing, if there's a future really, or what your future is. But I guess it's the stupidest thing ever. But really, like, the thing that got me going day to day through this is that stupid little Google weather frog, man. I would just like pop on my phone, and that stupid little frog would be there, and he'd just be chilling, like having a good day, playing a ukulele or picking some fruit off a tree. And I'm like, all right, let's focus on like whatever I need to do to like make my day better, and
exactly
find my inner Google weather frog. And
I just went out to drop some laundry off today, and I've been I kind of have this little bug in me to like start looking for a house. I don't think I'm like really ready to fully jump in like just yet, but I did find a house here in town where I live that was a foreclosure, and the price is pretty damn good, and it's got a big backyard and everything like that. So like a little part of me is like, I really want to pull the trigger on this, because like now is the time. Like the market's so bad, and like, can I see myself being a homeowner and staying here in Connecticut, or do I want to leave? Because a part of me wants to get out of the state too. Like I've always felt like moving to Texas, and now is not the right time, obviously. But I mean, so it's like I'm kind of at this crossroad myself right now. It's like, do I stay or do I go? Like I don't know, and I feel like I'm just standing there still, and I can't make up my mind. So.
Yeah, I hear you. We like had plans to move like maybe a little bit more north. We got a lot of friends up in Mass, and like that kind of was the goal. But yeah, like you said, like it almost feels like now's the time to strike. We were gonna get a house when everything collapsed, like 2008. So it's like almost, I don't know, like I was just crushed a little bit by that. It's like the dream was destroyed. So it's taken a while to kind of build back up from that and want to take a chance.
Yeah.
But I would love to actually pull the trigger and finally, because I'm a renter, and that sucks.
Same here. I mean, like I'm thankful I have my own apartment, and I got
for sure
dirt cheap rent. But I mean,
I
was a homeowner at one point. I was engaged a long time ago, and I had a house with this one girl, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. She wasn't faithful, so let's just say that. And
fair enough.
it really kind of like scared me to jump into something like that again, because like she let our house go into foreclosure. My credit was completely shot after that. It took so long for me to like build back up and like be financially stable again. And I just got into an argument with someone like I'm on this online dating website because I can't imagine dating right now. You know what I mean? Like
it is. I've got a friend going through
pandemic.
it. It's so weird, right?
It's so weird. So like I was chit chatting with this one girl, and we're not talking anymore because of what happened yesterday. But so like it just escalated like so abruptly out of nowhere, where she's like talking about like her future with like marriage and kids and everything like that. I'm like, hey, I just need to let you know where I'm coming from. Like this is where I'm at right now. I'm not sure if I'm ready to jump into something like that. I'd like to settle down, but like I need to make sure it's with the right person because of X, Y, and Z happened to me in the past. You know what I mean? And she totally flipped her shit. Like, well, you're in your mid 30s. Like you should have your mind made up by now. I said, you don't understand what I've been through in the last like 10 years. I was crippled. Like, I suffered financially, like, and you're gonna tell me what I need to do? I don't think so.
Yeah, man. It doesn't matter how old you are. Sometimes you just need to rebuild.
Yeah. So
I've been through that.
So I was just like, all right, whatever. This isn't going anywhere. Obviously, you're not my type. So like, and we're on two different pages. Let's just stop talking. I'll stay single for a little while longer. I don't care. But but enough about me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to totally ramble.
No, it's all good, man.
This is just shit that's going on in my life right now. So
I hear it's a strange time to be experiencing, what we have for a baseline now already, and then just trying to like live our lives on top of that.
Exactly. And try to find some sort of normal through all this fucking craziness.
For sure.
It's so hard sometimes, but like, but anyway, like, so what was it like growing up? Cause I mean, like, we met in the scene and everything. And I feel like I really don't know a whole lot about you.
Yeah. I grew up in Bloomfield, Connecticut, for most of my years. It was cool. Like I lived in this apartment complex. It was weird. It was notorious for being the hood, even though it really wasn't the hood. It was called Berry Circle. It was the name of it. But everybody else in my school like knew about that area. But it was cool. Like there's a group on Facebook with all the people. Like if you grew up there, like it's like you were in for life. So I still keep track of all those people. So it was like this kind of family apartment complex called Berry Circle, and it was great. And I would just hang out and skateboard all day, and I had a tennis court and a basketball court in my backyard, and I was there until my senior year. I ended up kind of slacking in my senior year, so I did my senior year twice, and that's when we moved out to Ellington, Connecticut for a little bit.
Okay.
And it was a little bit of a culture shock. This is more of like a farm town, and not quite as integrated as Bloomfield was. And it was just like, wow, what's going on here? But there were a lot of metal bands there, so I appreciated that because, I started playing guitar, and I must have been 12. I think I got this Strat that I was begging my parents for. It wasn't a real Strat. It was like a knockoff from Hondo. And but I had a buddy that he joined a band when I don't even know, we were in like middle school or like junior high or something. Like he was not able to play bars. And I even somehow got to go to the Bridges Cafe in East Windsor, which is now a strip joint. I think it's Mardi Gras too.
Oh, boy.
So I actually had to like have my parents sign a waiver to like get me in to see him play. And he was just doing cover tunes and stuff like that, like Steppenwolf and But that was like this kind of amazing dream. So yeah, that's what spurred me on. Like, I'm going to join a band. I think I was going to join a punk band at first, and it just never happened.
Mm.
And but yeah, moving to Ellington was a trip because like everybody was in a Metallica cover band all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, cool, all right, I can I can hang with you guys. But yeah, I mean, so I'm relatively old, so I was like in growing up in the late '70s, early '80s. So got to live through some cool stuff.
That's cool.
Before social media, so I didn't have my life ruined with people taking videos of all the dumb stuff I did. So
it's kind of a blessing and a curse, to be honest with you. Like,
for sure, yeah.
To have cameras on us at all times and everything, to just in case, God forbid, but.
Yep.
But then again, I'm not going to open this can of worms too much. But I mean, the media totally twists it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I'm not going to get totally political right now. Because I've been getting a lot of heat from some people lately. I've been very vocal and supportive of the Black Lives Matter movement and everything. And a lot of people have been like, all lives matter. I'm like, if you're going to say that, you need to stop listening to my podcast.
Yeah, man. I grew up, like I said, in a pretty integrated town, so I can't hang with that kind of concept at all, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the cool thing. I was like a metalhead, but I mean, hip hop culture was blowing up, so it's like I was experiencing that at the same time as listening to rock and metal and stuff like that. So it's like I don't know. I felt like I had an awesome exposure to all this cool stuff that I probably wouldn't have if I'd grown up in Ellington or something like that. I mean, I couldn't break dance. I didn't get far enough that I tried. But yeah, I mean, it's just that culture was great. Like seeing it kind of blow up. High top fades.
You talk about breakdancing. Before I broke my back, I used to be able to do the worm, and I only pulled it off sometimes at like family parties and stuff. So I was a weird kid, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, right before gym class, like sometimes we'd have to wait for them to get the equipment ready, and like everyone would be like, all right, well, now it's time to start breakdancing because we got some spare time, man. But even that, and like I also got to see like the video game console boom happen. That was amazing.
What was your first console?
It was, it's funny because we had a bunch of weird ass things before. Like my major one was the original Atari, VCS. But before that, like we were getting like there was a console called the Aquarius, which was like really obscure and just strange, like little computers. My dad got this Timex Sinclair, like little tiny, it looked like an overgrown calculator, and you were supposed to use it with like a tape deck or some sort of storage medium, but we didn't have that. So like you'd code for like 3 hours to play a stupid like Old West shoot 'em up game, which was like really crude, and then you die, and then that was it. Like you couldn't replay the game. Like all your time was wasted. So so I was like, screw this, man. I want to get like something I could just plop a cartridge in. And so we got the Atari, and then an Atari 5200 after that. And
nice.
And then it just carried on. But it was pretty amazing seeing all that stuff kind of enter the home, from the arcades.
Did you play that ET game for it?
That was one I didn't have. It's a trip. A couple years ago, actually it was more than a couple years ago now, I went to see Dead by Wednesday up in Plymouth, Mass. And then my grandfather's house in Cape Cod wasn't too far from there. So I went there like that night, and I found a Atari like pretty much like a 1982 time capsule in a drawer there. And so I got to come home with all these games like with the Caldor stickers on them still, and so I sadly Caldor. ET wasn't in there. Yeah, man. The Caldor Rainbow.
Caldor, Bradley's. I remember
Bradley's. I used to work at Bradley's for a hot minute.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Up in Enfield.
Yeah, there used to be a kid that lived down the street from us growing up that worked at Bradley's too. And I don't know what happened to him. He moved out a long time ago or something, but like he was a lot older than me too. But I remember going to Bradley's sometimes and just getting action figures and stuff.
Yeah, man. I got a lot of Star Wars figures there.
Oh, man. So what was like school like growing up for you? Were you like pretty popular, or like did you have a lot of friends and stuff like that? Or
it was weird because I mean I grew up with my core. It was very much like Stranger Things. Like I had my core group of like 4 dudes, like the party. Had those dudes, and then there were like other people like around that. So it's like I knew those guys like throughout my whole like school career. So it was always good to have them like lean on. And yeah, then like my kind of friend circle would move in and out from there.
Mm.
But yeah, I was pretty nerdy back in the early days, very studious and everything. And then something switched when high school happened. I got a guitar, and
Yeah.
it all goes to hell at that point. I'm like,
I love metal.
yeah, I love metal, and yeah, and I was like, I was really into a lot of interesting things, but I didn't feel like, yeah, I don't know, like school was stimulating my imagination, or my, capturing what I wanted to learn about. So
Mm.
I kind of had a bad attitude for a couple of years there, and
Yeah.
yeah, so it was a mixed bag. I mean, yeah, like grades wise, high school was definitely a bit of a bummer, because then I was always grounded and stuff like that, because my parents were like, I don't know what we're gonna do with this kid. But in terms of socializing and making a network of friends, that yeah, I had a good time for sure.
Nice. Well, did you go to college? Did you go for anything like
No, like I said,
no?
I had such a bad attitude about just school in general. And then you know what it was is, yeah, it was this weird kind of cumulative effect, because my dad was always telling me these stories about high school, because he went to Manchester like back in, I don't know, like the 70s, and they had like all these like cool like extracurricular classes, and like film studies and all this stuff. And I'm like, sick, high school is going to be cool. And I went to Bloomfield High School, and we just had like a bare curriculum. Like, yeah, I guess there probably wasn't that much money to be thrown in all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this sucks. And then someone was talking about college, and then I'm like, wait, now I got to take all these. Like, I just thought it was going to be this wonderful world of just all electives and things like that. And I'm like, oh, I got to take all these classes I don't want to take just to get my degree. And I'm like, screw this. So I was just so, I don't know, I was just so angry and disillusioned with the whole educational system. I'm like, I'm not giving them money for them to tell me what I'm going to study. And
Yeah.
so I was like, of course I shot myself in the foot giving them the finger, but at that age, that's what you do. So
Yeah, my mother had me enrolled into the community college in Waterbury, and right after high school, and I was just like, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I was like, I don't even know what I want to do. You know what I mean?
same
Like,
here, man. Yeah.
and she was like, well, you should go and figure it out. Get your general studies done, this, that, and the other. And I thought I was gonna do something with like video work or whatever. And I only
Yeah.
had I had an algebra course, I had an English course, I had one computer course that had nothing to do with any sort of video work whatsoever.
Exactly.
And I was just 18 and dumb, and I was just like, oh,
Yep.
fuck this, like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I dropped out after the first semester, and my mom was so pissed. I was like, I'm not going, I'm sorry, like,
Yep.
and then I went to like a tech school for plumbing, which
Yep.
I thought was what I wanted to do, and it really wasn't. And I went back to manufacturing, and I'm still doing manufacturing. I hate manufacturing, but I mean, like, and then
Yeah.
I did the online stuff for graphic design, which is what I'm
Yep.
trying to get into right now, and it's just very difficult. So for
Yeah.
right now, I'm just sticking with manufacturing and doing the video and graphic stuff on the side. So
That's what I should have done, because that was like the only stuff I liked in high school. Was we had this like graphic design course, and I just remember having a good time in there. Like when we had like computers weren't what they were now, but we had like Macs and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, sick! I get to use these, and we do a lot of printing and things like that. But I used to love doing like printing press stuff, and like I'd watch movies like To Live and Die in L.A., and I'd see they had the same gear I had at school to make like counterfeit money. I'm like, oh, this is sick, man! I can make counterfeit money. But yeah, we just print up business cards and things, and then we started to get a little digital towards the end. But it was cool. I really should have followed up on that. But
yeah, it's really fun. I mean, like, for the most part, I've gotten to do like portraits for friends and stuff, or like logo designs for friends, and then
yeah,
now with the whole video aspect of it too. I just did a lyric video for Crossing Rubicon recently.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I did another lyric video for a friend, for his band Fectology. It was just very simple, but it's a lot of fun, and like
Yeah.
I'm really liking the way my portfolio is coming together.
Nice.
It's just now it's just trying to find like where I can go with it. You know what I mean? Because I'm still like a novice. I feel like I have experience in all these aspects of it,
Yep.
but I'm nowhere near the level of like some of my other friends, like Kevin Freer. He's amazing at that stuff.
He's the man.
Yeah, and like he actually, it's crazy because like he got me an interview with his old job. Unfortunately, I didn't get the job, but it was for a car dealership in Hartford. And I thought the interview went really well. I just they decided to go with somebody else. So I was like, all right,
Yep.
like, but I thought that was going to be like a great job. I would be designing like billboards and
Yeah, man.
stuff like that. I was like super excited for it, and then I didn't get it. So, but
Yeah, I feel that same way sometimes. I feel like I'm a jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. Like I do a lot of work in Photoshop and things like that. But it's like, but then I know the guys or that are really proficient at Photoshop and Illustrator. And I've never felt like I was really proficient in any one thing. So it's like I can get by and I can do some stuff. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, like, there's only so many tutorial videos you can watch too. You know what I mean? Like,
hell yeah, I hear that.
I look at all these guys out there with their artwork and stuff, like Boss Logic, for instance, like what he can do with, movie posters and like character designs, and like do them in a matter of like couple hours. You know what I mean? Like they drop news about the PS5 and all of a sudden he's got like 6 different variants of like different custom PS5s. I'm like, dude, how long did that take? They literally just announced it like 2 hours ago. Like,
right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just that much talent, and he's got, I was like, I want to do that. You know what I mean? Like that seems like it's a lot of fun, but
and I'm my own worst critic too, so I'll always sell myself short. Even if I am like doing something rather well, I'll be like, yeah, no, I'm not as good as that guy, or this isn't really that good. Yeah, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I always try to find like, if I have, some time to kill or whatever, like I'll experiment a little bit here and there. And sometimes I'll do like art streams on my Twitch channel too. I haven't done one in a little while, but like we'll do like portrait work or whatever. But it's fun. But I mean, I just wish I can, again, get my foot in somewhere and get more training and get better at it, but someday we'll see. But anyway, do you suffer from any mental health issues or mental illness?
Nothing on the books, but anxiety issues has become a thing within the past like 10 years or so.
Okay.
And I always had a little bit of social anxiety. I'm kind of one of those like introvert extrovert kind of guys. Like I'm pretty well like shut off from everybody if like I roll into a party or something. But then if I find like a connection with one person, it just kind of then I'm like chatting with everybody within like 10 minutes or something like that. But I've had people like think I'm really standoffish, just because how I roll into places sometimes, just because I don't know. But my wife has full-on panic attacks about those kind of situations. Yeah. But I started having like serious anxiety just about health and pretty much only health. Like, so now if I get like just like a little bit of a cold or something coming on, like in my mind, my throat's going to close up and I'm going to die in my sleep, or I'm like, it's the end pretty much. So, so then I hit that wall that I have to power through in order to get some rest. And, it's nothing. Like I was pretty well just, living my life and casual about everything. I had, obviously as a kid, we had, my parents got divorced. So I had, the resultant low self-opinion, but like that weird, like psychological thing where like you think you're cool and you like things about yourself, but then you also have that low self-opinion at the same time. So when people are like, you have a low self-opinion, you're like, no, I don't. I think I'm awesome. I like Star Wars. Like who wouldn't want to hang out with me? But but then you realize, you just kind of, shoot yourself down before anybody else can. And, but yeah, that wasn't really as much of a problem when I was in my adult years. But yeah, the anxiety stuff within the past little bit. I mean, it's been pretty good this past year, but I don't know. I guess it's probably as I'm getting older, I start getting more freaked out. Like I don't have kids or anything like that, so I start getting more freaked out about like, am I going to be like one of those dudes in a nursing home that gets just abused by the staff there and has no one to come visit, and like I'm going to be like I have that thing. It's like the Metallica 1 video. Like I always, for some reason, feel that someday I'm going to be that guy trapped inside his head, but like unable to like move or speak or anything like that. And if I just get sick, I turn into that guy in my head.
You just like made me like, I don't know. That's like my worst nightmare right now. And I never even would have thought about that until you said that. Cause I get stuck in my head so much. Like, and I'm the same way, like, with anxiety, I'm socially awkward sometimes too, where it's just like, once I get to know a person, like you said, like, then I open up more and I'm usually more
Yeah.
friendly and stuff, but like I don't approach people very often or outgoing or anything like that because I'm like you said, like I'm an introvert too.
Yeah.
But I think it's just more so over the years too. I think I've slowly become more introverted
Hmm.
with stuff that I've been through in the past where I just shut down and I just don't open up as much as I used to.
Yep.
But I definitely agree with you on that. Like I'm the
Yeah.
same. I'm 33. I have no kids and everything, and like that's
Yeah.
what you just said scares the shit out of me too. Because if I'm in a nursing home somewhere and I can't communicate with anybody, and
Yeah.
I'm just stuck in my head, that's like my worst nightmare right there.
Yes, and for some
Uh,
reason, I just think about that, and yeah, so I do a lot of like if I start getting sick or something, I start doing a lot of pacing. Like just moving around is the only thing I can do. I've had those moments where I'm like at a coffee shop sitting down with my family, and like everything just kind of closes in, and I get like really hot, and I'm just like I have to get outside like now,
Panic
and
attack.
yeah, and I just get up and I just have to bolt. Yeah,
Mm,
so I never experienced that until probably the past 10 years or so, and it's always like
yeah.
sickness related. So
I've only gotten that way a few times when, I'm in a situation where I'm not comfortable.
yeah.
Like, I've never been before. Like, like you said, like if it was a coffee shop or something,
Yeah.
or like if you're out with friends and then you're introduced to new people and everything, and you're just
Yeah.
in an environment that you're not comfortable in. And I've done it too, where I'm like, I gotta get outside, I gotta get some air, like
Mhm.
I'll be right back. I got to go to the bathroom or something like that and
Yeah,
splash water
man.
in my
Yeah.
face or something because it's, and then like you get asked, like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, just give me a minute. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
Exactly.
like I get like that sometimes too. And I never thought about it as like panic attacks or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's just like my mind is like, okay, you're not home right now. You're not in your comfort zone or anything like that. You got to get out of the situation. And I never
Yeah.
realized that until like a few years ago. I'm like, maybe I do have a lot of anxiety that I never would have thought of. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
See, I try to find the good coping mechanisms and things like that, especially if it happens at night.
mhm.
It helps. Having like YouTube videos of just like random things, like there's people that put GoPros in their cars and just drive in the rain for like 8 hours straight. Just watching something like that can like really just take me out of my head and just
Mm.
focus on something like that, and then I'll end up just
Or
finally getting
what is it?
tired enough. ASMR.
ASMR. Yeah.
I watch ASMR. It's funny because I remember having that when I was a kid. Whenever people would like, we'd have like pairing up with people, and you'd like write down like a list of tasks and stuff like that. I'd have a hard time concentrating because I'd just like go into my like my zone, because like people like calmly reading things like in a list. I'd get that ASMR effect, and they'd be like, "Hey." They'd call on me to answer, and I'd be like, "Oh, I don't know. I was just zoning this whole time." Like, so yeah, I watch a lot of those videos.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
got I got a few things on my phone too. Sometimes like I'll play, like I don't play a lot of music or anything when I go to bed because I just want to go to bed.
yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean? But like
Yep.
I do have like you said, I have some rain sounds and thunder or whatever on my phone that I'll play if
Yep.
I'm like super stressed out. That helps. So um
Yep.
but I'm not a big like ASMR guy, but like I've noticed more and more like
Yep.
it does help
Yeah,
a
like
little
yeah, they
bit,
don't really work on me. Like they don't give me that like full effect or anything like that through the videos, but they just are relaxing, I guess.
Mm.
So I kind of like that aspect. So they're pretty goofy sometimes, though. So
Yeah,
that's pretty.
I was gonna say there's some weird ones out there too. Like there's
Yeah, man.
people just eating sandwiches and
Yeah,
just like the sound of chewing. I'm like, who
yeah.
the
Nah, I'm
hell?
good.
I was like, I can't stand hearing anybody eat food.
Yeah,
Like,
I can skip that. No
or just
thanks.
just like stuff like that. I'm like, people have got some weird kinks, man. Like
Yeah,
I don't get it, but
I hear you.
and these guys make money doing these videos
They
too.
do.
It's
They
so
make bank.
crazy.
They
It's
do.
so crazy.
Yeah.
I'm doing something wrong.
I know. I know. I can't do, like I make YouTube videos, but I can't do it to start like I don't know, like tapping on my stuff. Like I'll
Mm.
watch the videos, but I don't know. I can't. I'd feel really weird in my room, just like tapping on things and whispering to people.
So let me ask you, because
Yeah.
you brought up YouTube,
Yep.
because this goes up on YouTube, and I've done YouTube videos in the past too with
Yep.
gaming and stuff. How do
Yep.
you deal with the COPA situation, like with the way YouTube has changed so much over the years?
It's weird, man. It's interesting to like always keep on top of it. The thing that bugs me is like as a guy that just deals with a lot of talk about media and stuff like that. It's like the lack of fair use is the thing that bugs me the most about YouTube. But yeah, they're always throwing up some other hurdle for you. Like so now you gotta let them know whether or not your content is child friendly enough to in order to get your monetization. And there's always something they throw up. Thankfully, my channel like was big enough that I didn't get crushed when they did that block on small channels being able to monetize, because I felt bad because I know some dudes that have just like one killer video that ends up like generating hits, but because they didn't have enough subscribers, they couldn't monetize it. So that sucked. But yeah, the lack of fair use kills me. Like when I used to do my metal radio show, I did an interview with the band Nile, and I was like, oh, cool. So let me do like a YouTube video version of it. And at the very end, I put like 25 seconds of like their lead single over the end credits. And in the credits, like I thanked the band. I thanked Nuclear Blast for giving me the track, and of course it got shut down by a bot, and that was back when like you immediately were restricted, like you could only upload like 10 or 15-minute videos for a month or so if you got hit like that. And I remember like, what do you mean? Like I'm interviewing the dude in the band that was set up by the label. The label sent me the MP3 to use to promote and play on the air. And then so it's that thing where you get shut down and then you have to then fight to prove that you're worthy of using these clips or whatever like that. So yeah, the rights management thing is the thing that just kills me, and the fact that it's like guilty until proven innocent. And do you really want to go through the troubles of fighting YouTube on this stuff?
I feel like YouTube is still trying to make headway of what the fuck they need to do. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like
they're really winging it.
yeah, it sucks. Like like Twitch. I stream on Twitch and everything. I'm like, I get flagged if I play copyrighted music. You know what I mean? So I don't. So I find like royalty free music I can play, and usually it works out. Sometimes I'll even play like local music too. And I think I only got muted once. I'm not sure for what band, but I had like a whole playlist of like Connecticut bands I was playing, and someone was like, "Oh, your channel's muted." I'm like, "Oh, I wonder what song muted it." Like but like it's
man,
it's so weird. It's like why don't we just have a service where it's like we pay for an app or something like that where we can like play music and royalties will go almost like Spotify, you know what I mean? Like where content creators can use this app and use music that they want, that they purchased or whatever, and like every time they use it, the artist gets royalties. But I don't know if something like that exists, but
I mean, it'd be the same thing. The radio station I do some work at has to do, like when we moved over to streaming, like it was a pretty much a Wild West of rights, but they had to come up with like a new licensing thing, and you had to pay a certain amount of money, and then you can stream anything online, and just we also like make a log of what we play, so theoretically people can get like kickbacks for for their songwriting. But something like that, like just like a blanket license, maybe like something cheaper for an amateur, something if you're a pro, maybe you pay a little bit more or something like that. But some sort of like like an ASCAP or BMI or some sort of like license. But like you mentioned, Let's Plays, I saw some dudes get like flagged if any games have music in them. Like you can get flagged. Like I was playing that like kind of walkthrough game. What was it? Gone Home, and it has a bunch of like punk bands in it. And his channel got hit.
I got a copyright strike. About a month or so ago. I was playing Final Fantasy VII, the remake, and the music in the game. You know what I mean? And I got a copyright strike for it. I'm like, how is that? How does that work? Because I mean, like it's the game. It's not my fault. You know what I mean? Like how do I get flagged for something like that? So I got to mute the whole game now in order to post. So I just stopped posting on my YouTube channel. I just stick to streaming now. So,
but I do get a kick when like my own music gets flagged because like we have that like I think CD Baby or whatever has like an extra little service you can get to have them trawl through YouTube and look for uploads of your stuff. So I actually they actually can figure out the song if it's not even just like the album version, because I uploaded like just like a live video of us jamming at like All Stars or something, and they figured out the track. And they hit me. They're like, "This is copyrighted material." I'm like, "It's my band, you asswipe."
Yeah.
But there's this part on CD Baby where you can go in and you can grant access to any one particular channel play your stuff without an impunity. But I just left it. I'm like, oh, this will be hilarious.
Mm.
They're gonna take my monetization away and give it to my band.
I got the same crap when I uploaded live footage from Parkway Drive when I saw them at the Palladium. Like Facebook flagged me for it and everything. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm at the concert. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
right.
I paid money to be here. You know what I mean? To see this band. Like, who the fuck cares if I'm,
Yeah,
uploading a footage of them playing? You know what I
but
mean?
they
Like,
want that performance royalty action. Yeah,
so stupid. Like,
it's crazy. I'm just impressed they can figure out a song like that. And
I know.
yeah, from that fingerprinting technology they have. But damn,
Yeah, it's so
yeah,
crazy how weird technology and how fast technology is getting with all that stuff. But
yeah.
I really feel like YouTube needs to figure something out fast because a lot of people are getting off of YouTube now.
Yeah, because it's always obviously they go where the money goes. So whenever there's someone with power that says, "Yay, well, we've got this issue," YouTube just like fucking kicks all their their clientele, all their content providers. They kick them in the face first to please these other people
Mm-hmm.
instead of kind of taking the time to figure out some sort of medium. Yeah,
Exactly.
uh,
It's gonna crash and burn someday, and some other site's gonna take its place, but we'll see.
yeah, yeah.
But
Just waiting to see who's dominant, really. Yeah,
yeah. So you're talking about music. You got a guitar at a young age and everything, and
yeah.
started playing at a young age. When did you join your first band, and when did you join Sever the Drama?
My first band was me and Mike Modeste from Dead by Wednesday. We started the band called the Lost Boys
Oh,
in high school, and we didn't really start like writing our own material. We went through like 3 different names, and then we actually changed over to Near Dark was the name of our band, and then we started writing originals. It was cool. Like we were fresh out of high school. We didn't know what we were doing though. Like I wish I had any of the knowledge of just like booking shows or anything like that. Yeah, I was just still like everything was kind of like magnified in my head and mystified.
mm.
And it just seemed like, oh my God, getting a show at like Tuxedo Junction is like playing at Madison Square. Like I just made it all so big, and everything seemed like this impossible dream. And it would we could have just like played far more shows, and just if we just gotten out of our way a little bit more. My favorite thing was playing CBGB though. We did get to play CBGB back in like '92, so that was pretty cool. But just from like lack of funds, man. I was didn't know what was going on, and then I finally got my first like big boy job, and then I was like, oh man, I've been like living weekends in this rental spot in Hartford, Connecticut. That's like freezing in the winter, and like I've been living like pretty rough for a couple of years. Like I got a car now. I'm gonna go like watch some movies with some girls or something like that. So yeah, that kind of like ended up putting one of the nails in the coffin, and the band eventually just kind of splintered in the early '90s. And I did like a jam band that did like kind of clutch kind of stuff a little bit for fun with these dudes, and then it was just kind of like a bedroom warrior. After that, I kind of gave up on it. I'd like do coffee houses with my buddies every once in a while and do like acoustic stuff. But I thought I had kind of given up on it, and it was the census in 2010 that got me back in. It was like it was a mix of that. It was Rock Band, which came out, and of course
Rock Band.
I picked it up, and of course I was just like, this is stupid. This doesn't play like a real guitar. Real guitars do this. And like I was just completely a dick about it. And then like 3 hours later, I'm like, the band lives on forever. We're doing this tomorrow night. And I was so into it. Like I even went and did QA QC testing for Rock Band 2 like one day at Electro Harmonics up in Harvard. Like I drove me and my buddies and my nephew, and we went up and play tested. And so I was into it. So that like kind of gave me the spirit to like actually play with other people like that. Like even though the mechanics were not like a guitar, like the interactivity of the band kind of dynamic was real enough that I was like, shit, I miss this. So and then I joined the census because like I mentioned before, 2008 hit and 2009, and there goes the job. I'm unemployed for like 2 years straight, and I'm like, what am I going to do? So I started taking all these, any jobs. It's like, here, come and crunch data on like Excel spreadsheets for 12 hours one day. And I'm like, yeah. So the census rolled up, and I signed up and did that. And 2 of the dudes in my census class were like super thrash metal guys. And one of them is, they're both friends to this day. And one of them was a traveling salesman for school books and stuff, and he would actually like orchestrate his travels around bands and like venues and stuff, and he would see, just concert after concert after concert. So I think he saw Motorhead like 100 times or something like that.
That's
so
pretty cool.
yeah, so that dude was in my class, and his son was a multi-instrumentalist, and he's actually working on a thing out in Vegas now. He's trying to do like a one-man show where it's all pre-recorded, but he bounces between instruments like live and does like a tribute to all his favorite acts like Metallica and AC/DC and stuff like that. So he's been working on that for a couple of years, and so he had all his kit, like he had a drum kit and a bunch of amps and stuff like in his basement. And he was the guy I would have to go to sign off on my timesheets basically every day. So I'd go down there and I'd be like, well, I happen to bring my Ibanez with me. Let's jam out for a bit. And so that started it. And then when we ended, like we had this big final, like end of the census party, and we jammed a bunch of tunes. It was mostly Metallica songs and like some Pink Floyd and stuff like that. But I was like, oh, this is cool. And then meanwhile, all along that whole time, like I'd been friends with Chris from Sever the Drama, Chris Coleman, the guitar player. And he'd been in bands before that, like Gage Played and Shatterbox. And I used to go see their shows and everything. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, man. He's my bro. He's playing shows. And every once in a while we get together. Our wives have been friends since elementary school. So they'd be like, you guys should get together, get Sam in the band. And I'd be like, nah. And he'd be like, nah. And something happened at one point. He's like, yeah, we need a bass player or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I can probably play. I've dabbled in bass before. I'm usually a guitar guy, but I can do it. And I don't know, something about it, like something about the dynamics changed. And he's like, yeah, man, like let's give it a shot. Come on down. And I was like, all right, I've actually been playing again. I kind of shook the rust off a little bit. So let me get down there. And I had a pretty crappy bass at the time. And I got his stuff, and I almost chickened out at the last minute, because this was like 2010, I think. And like late 2010, because I was trying to figure out their stuff. And I know there's something about bands that every band has their own kind of style. And like once you kind of crack that style, it's like you can figure out all their songs. But I wasn't quite sure. I was used to playing like my Metallica jams or whatever. And so I'm like, this isn't Metallica. Like they have a different key they write in. And then I figured out the first couple of tracks, and then it just kind of clicked. And I'm like, all right, cool. Last minute, like 11th hour. So I went down and jammed in Chris's garage, and we kind of did that like a couple times a week. And then, it was like, I was like the other woman for a couple months, but eventually made it, made it happen. But I'm glad it did.
Has it been the same lineup since then?
Since then, yeah. It's been me, Carl Morawski on drums, Scott D'Amato singing, and Chris Coleman on guitar. And it's been the same guys ever since then. So
oh man, I just remember being at the video shoot you guys did years ago with the bus, and rest in peace the bus.
John Gagne's house. Yeah,
that was a fun day. We were all like just going crazy in the yard and everything by the bus, and then
and then it pissed down on us for a while.
Oh yeah. You guys had like a cookout and everything. Yeah, and like that was a lot of fun, man. Like I had a lot of fun that day. But I just remember when that video dropped, because I had no idea what any of the video was about, and then seeing it, when you guys debuted it, and like you guys were driving while playing
in the bus.
I was like, I'm like 84 or something like that. I was just like, these guys are nuts, man. Like jamming out in a bus like that. Like, oh my God.
Our it was so good though. Was not, we definitely needed like a union guy on set to shut us down, because we did some stupid stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good though. And like, seeing Grip like steal the bus and everything, and like drive around like a lunatic. That was hilarious. I'm gonna be getting him on the podcast pretty soon. I just saw him the other weekend for the 4th.
Yeah, man, I miss the crew. Just going out and playing shows. It's funny because everyone talks about, I think everyone's kind of scene says that every other scene that follows kind of sucks. I know a lot of guys that played back in the 90s and like, oh man, the scene's nothing like it was. But when we were out playing, man, it was just, I knew I could always count on like a certain amount of like a stable crew, that would always be there. And I'd always, it's the Fear of the Masses guys are here. It's the Continuum guys are here. And it's like, I don't know. I just miss those people and just going out to the shows. And, Yeah, knowing I'm going to see a buddy.
Yeah, same here. I mean, like I didn't realize how much I missed shows until like everything shut down, and I
Yeah,
was
man.
like, I talked about it with Josh on episode 1, and we were just like, yeah, we like staying at home, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah,
we now more than ever, like we want to go to shows. I want to go get a beer with some friends, and you just
yeah,
can't right now, and it sucks. But yeah, I totally miss the scene, man, and it's definitely changing.
yeah.
We could talk more off air about stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Kids these days, man,
yeah.
screw them.
But you guys are working on a new album too, right?
Yeah, sadly, it's a weird time, man. Because at the same time, before this went down, Chris moved up to Massachusetts, so that went. He took our rehearsal space with him,
Oh
and
no.
then Carl, our drummer, is in the bowels of Connecticut in like Unionville. He's kind of in the middle. He's been building like a space above his garage that he recently built. So there was that. We were all in kind of transition, and then the world hit the skids at the same time. But yeah, we recorded it with a buddy Will, who did My Hamartia's album, and he's been working with a lot of good local bands, and he did a lot of training with Kevin Caveman Shirley out in I think out in Santa Monica, who does a lot of Iron Maiden albums and stuff like that.
Oh,
So he
wow.
was psyched to kind of get like back at like another kind of like metal album there with like the kind of new tools he had in his tool belt. And we worked with Ian Jones from
Yeah.
Telefunken,
Love
the
Ian
last
Jones. He's
album.
such a great guy.
And yeah, he was like our sound dude. He would come travel to all the shows with him. I mean, he was like the fifth member of Sever the Drama for a while. And same with Cross Rubicon. Like he was always doing their shows. And he ended up leaving Telefunken, and like the dynamic, he was mixing Aquanet like all the time, so he wasn't going to be available to record it. So we're like, oh man, so we're gonna have to change something up. But yeah, so we recorded, and it's been, unfortunately, like we've got all the stuff ready to go for it, but like we're like, what are we gonna do? There's no CD release party or anything. And
Yeah.
but we got 13 tracks. They're almost done mixing. Will ended up like redesigning his room, and now he's actually kind of like listening and thinking about he's going to kind of tweak the mixes a little bit again. I called in a lot of favors. My buddy Freddie Williams, who's a comic book artist, he actually offered design a cover for us, and I'm like, hell
Cool.
yeah, bro! I love your stuff. So I would absolutely love for you to get involved. So he sent that to us like right before COVID shut down the States. So we were like ready to start ramping up production and like doing the design work and everything. So yeah, so we're still just kind of like in limbo. Like we were trying to figure out like how do we practice now. And now it's a point like it's pretty good in Connecticut. Like I'd feel comfortable going and jamming with those dudes, like
Yeah.
especially in a huge attic over a
Yeah.
garage. But I mean, for a while, we're like, what are we going to do? Like some sort of like get some high end, super internet and like try and stream just the lag issues. Like,
Yeah.
try and do that.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, like that pumped the brakes on a lot of like momentum. But
Yeah, like a lot of other bands too are kind of in the same boat. Like Fear the Masses too. Like as soon as COVID hit, like the album's pretty much done. Now they're just trying to figure out like when can we release it? How are we going to release it? We have no idea, and it sucks. And
how do you promote it? They're like, like we'd love to shoot a video, but like, are you going to get everybody to come and gather illegally or something? I get a bunch of people.
That sucks.
I don't know.
I see some venues though that are still having live music though outdoors and everything, but I don't know if I would go just yet. But like I said the other week, I was in Manchester hanging out with Grip and everything for the 4th of July, and we drove by the Hungry Tiger and we heard live music, and I was like, are they allowed to have live music yet? Like I don't know. And then like I found out it was this band that I played a show with back in the day. They were playing outdoors and everything, and I was like, oh, okay, like I guess they can have live music. I don't know. But
Don, who runs the Hungry Tiger, he's been in trouble lately because he was like one of the first guys that got slammed with, because he was just letting the bar just operate as usual, and he got hit pretty. And it's funny, I just saw a report about bars reacting to the delay of phase 3, and pretty much everybody was on the same page, and they were like, we understand it sucks. Like we have limited ability to have outdoor dining, and we'd love to have people in here, but we don't want to kill our customers also. So we understand it's necessary evil. And then I remember he was like, "This sucks, man. They're keeping us down. We need to open it up." I'm like, that's funny because he got fined pretty early on in the lockdown for just letting the bar operate business as usual.
So dumb. Like it's
Yeah,
so people. It's those America people.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
man.
can't take my freedom.
Yeah,
Freedom. I'm like, yo, it's not about you.
yeah.
Like it's not about you.
And
Like,
now
the whole thing
now
is
your
not about
family's in
you.
the hospital. Yeah,
Yeah.
congrats. You killed grandma. Good job, buddy. Yeah. Yeah.
I just can't. And the rest of the world is laughing at us.
I
Like,
know. I know.
like
I mean, I already I knew America had a lot of issues and stuff, but I always had that faith, like deep down inside. That hope, deep down inside, we can get our shit together and we can pull something together. And then, this year has just been like, oh man, we might just be a bag of fucking idiots.
it's like it's not coronavirus or the plague or anything. Like, no, the human race is the plague. Right?
Yeah,
like,
man.
It really is. Like, I hate to say it that way and be so grim, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
you have an argument with somebody about not wearing a mask, and
I know.
and then it turns into politics. This
Yeah.
has nothing to do with politics. I
How
don't
did
care
we
if you're.
weaponize and politicize masks? Yeah, I know.
It's science. Like, it's fucking science. Like, even like global warming, you know what I mean? It's not political. It's like,
so yeah, I'm like, shit, if this is like everything is political now, like, I don't know. Some people are like, I don't like breathing. You can't tell me to breathe this air. This air's got nanobots in it.
it's 5G. 5G is fine.
5G, yeah.
Oh my God.
So, where does this end? That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
I'm just so over it.
Yeah.
So over
I
it.
hear you.
I mean, like, and there was something in the news the other day too that, like, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Like, this guy was leaving, I think, a Walmart or something, and he was, taking his mask off because he was leaving the store. You know what I mean? So I didn't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, man.
But a woman spat in his face.
Yeah.
When he did that. I'm like, what? Like, why would you do that? Like,
yeah, I know, exactly. And then that just adds fuel to the fire for anybody. Like, well, the people that are, advocating for masks are a bunch of dickheads anyways. You'd be like, look at this lady. So it doesn't help our cause.
I don't know. I kind of just wish I could just like hop in like a cryo chamber and just like freeze myself for like a year and just see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, come back and like see how bad things have gotten, or
I know, yeah, it's really that,
better. I don't know.
Because like the old joke was like, oh, you'd end up unfreezing it, it'd be like idiocracy. But like, we're in idiocracy now, so maybe it would turn around. Like, maybe if we froze ourselves, we'd open up and be like, oh shit, humanity got their crap together.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I turn on the news and I'm just like so blown away, like how much we're pulling away from, like, our president left the World Health Organization behind and pulled out of all these conferences and everything. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And now you want to reopen schools. Like, I even if I had kids, like, I wouldn't be sending my kids back to school right now. Hell no. And then and then threatening to not fund the schools if they don't reopen. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, and it's not just him, it's his advisors and everything. And
so many stakes, man. Like, there's people I disagree with, but it's like, I don't want those people's kids and grandparents to die.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And like, I just saw something today too. It was like New Zealand, how they beat coronavirus is they actually trust their government. They went in quarantine for 4 weeks. They didn't go anywhere. They didn't do anything. And guess what? There's no COVID. And it's that simple. Like, it's simple.
When our first lockdown happened, like, I was ready to go full on. Like, I'm not leaving the house, period. And I didn't really go anywhere for quite some time. My wife did some shopping and things like that. And it was weird, like, driving around for the first time after at least a full month of just I would walk. Town. Yeah. And I'd be like, whoa, this is crazy. And I was almost expecting it to be Mad Max out there, like, just desert wasteland. So I was ready. I was prepared, committed, and be like, let's ride this out, man. I'm just going to stay in my house. And everyone had enough toilet paper to make it happen. But
I'm starting to see toilet paper back on the shelves now.
Yeah, right.
Like I was gonna take a photo and like post it up online. Like, oh look, toilet paper's back in their natural habitat. You know.
I think enough people had like guest rooms that were just floor to ceiling toilet paper. They're like, we've reached critical mass. We can't keep buying toilet paper.
and like you said, like the idiocracy in this
Yeah.
country or the world right now, it's like one person posted a photo of an empty shelf and just made up some bullshit saying like, oh, there's a toilet paper shortage, you better get it now. It had nothing to do with that, and like it just scared the crap out of everybody that they started hoarding toilet paper. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like,
we just kind of played it like we normally do. We have like a couple spare packages, and that's it. And then everyone's so like, you want to go at the right time of day, and like, oh look, there's some toilet paper, grab it. It was not a problem at all. But of course you got to make it into one.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's like, like I said, now I'm seeing it. I'm like, I got toilet paper at home, but I mean, is this toilet paper going to be here next week when I come to the grocery store? Should I grab some? Yeah, let me grab some. Now I feel like an asshole because like
I'm part of the problem.
Yeah, I feel like I'm hoarding toilet paper because I'm afraid it's not going to be here next time, and I don't know.
I hear you.
I hate the internet sometimes. I really do. Like, it's just
for sure,
crazy. But so like Culture Dog, that's tell me a little bit more about that. It is your podcast and your YouTube stuff and everything. Like, tell me a little bit more about it.
That kind of came out of, I was doing a radio show, like starting in 2002 with my buddy. We used to work together. This guy Kevin O'Toole, and he was a DJ at WWUH in Hartford, like West Hartford border, and he did like just weird college rock stuff. And over the years, like we just talk about movies all the time, and thought like, hey, maybe we should get a show together. So we started doing a movie show on Sunday nights called Culture Dogs. And I had a like YouTube video channel for like my metal show for like band interviews. And I didn't really get YouTube at the time. Like I didn't really even like grasp that it was like a social media form, and that there were the subscriptions and the networking, like that just like kind of went over my head. I just kind of saw it as, hey, it's a place where you put videos and forget about them. And at that one point I was like, maybe I should start like another channel and like kind of like pay a little more attention to it, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So like at first I was like uploading like live videos and stuff. Like I go to like Spaceland Ballroom and like take some videos and like post those up on there. I think there's like a Joey Bats video and some other stuff. And I was like, yeah, all right, I already have a music channel. Let me do like, I have that movie channel, so let's do something more movie related. And it took a while. It took me like a couple of years. And then I finally launched like the Culture Dog, like kind of channel, named it that, and started doing like mostly home video stuff. Cause I'm like a big retro media guy. I like love laser discs, which is like the old optical pre-DVD. They were like record size, 12-inch, CDs basically they look like. So I kind of like, that was my period. Like, that's when I was, first had my big boy job and like was able to like buy, I didn't have enough money to like really build up a major collection, cause those were, pretty pricey, but I was into it. So I'm like, man, I got some stories from this period I could share. So I started doing that, and then doing like Blu-ray reviews and things like that, like to mix it up a little bit. And it started to kind of gain a little bit of momentum. And so I put a lot of, effort, and it wanes. Like sometimes I don't know, life gets in the way. You gotta like pump the brakes for a bit. But I strangely like had like a kind of like flash a realization that like, oh, this is cool. Like there's other people that are commenting on my videos that aren't like, if you like actually take the time to like mow the lawn and like interact with people. That's why I always love Scotty Anarchy, where like if anybody talk trash on any of his videos, like he will like actually converse with them. And like these tough ass bullies will have somebody like, oh yeah, man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, it seems like you're working really hard and like, keep it up. Yeah. Like there's just so many trolls just dropping shit on your lawn. And I like from the beginning was just like, oh, there's a lot of cool people out here, and I'm chatting with them, and it kind of built up this community of, people that are also into movies and things like that. So it's been going, I've been doing that aspect of it since like 2014 now. So I got a video I got to post today if I can get my act together. But
I hear you. So laser discs, like,
man,
I never had a laser disc player growing up. I still don't have one, but what was your fascination with laser discs?
Yeah, it was. It,
Because
wa-
I'm assuming that's your collection back there.
yeah, man. That's my vinyl's downstairs. Everybody always assumes it's my vinyl, but that's my Laserdisc collection. And it was part of it. There's some more over here you can't see.
All right.
But yeah, I got into it in the '90s, like right when I was really getting into movies, like in terms of like branching out. Like I always like Star Wars and stuff, but I was
Mm.
starting to like kind of seek out like things that were outside of my comfort zone and realizing, oh, I'm really into this stuff. Already knew I was really into music, but I was like, oh, this is cool. And then Laserdisc at that time was kind of going through this like golden period where it was like the film lovers format. I mean, we take it all for granted, all this stuff that's on Blu-ray now, but like back then, that was where the commentary tracks came from, and where they would, letterbox the film so you could have the original like widescreen ratios that you saw in the theaters. And so it was like film buffs, like that was your mecca back in the day. And it was like 60% sharper than VHS. So there was that too. And they were coming out with like the director's cuts, like that stuff wasn't a thing. So like James Cameron dropped the Aliens special edition and his long cut of the Abyss, and like so it was like this complete cream dream for anybody that was in the movies at the time. So yeah, so I mean, of course, it was, everyone says it was like a rich man's format because the players were pretty pricey, but I managed to like kind of squeak by with like a cheap player I picked up, and I would kind of like pick and choose and buy them used or whatever.
Mm.
And then DVD came, and DVD was weird because it like kind of combined VHS and Laserdisc together. It had like the convenience of VHS and the affordability, and then it had like the same kind of special features like the widescreen and the commentary tracks and the bonus features and stuff of Laserdisc. So I jumped over to that, and then it was like some point in the 2000s, like all the people that I bothered about Laserdisc in the 90s and conned into buying into it all started giving me all their stuff back because they're like, yeah, we got a Blu-ray player now, we don't need this crap. And that just kind of like lit the fire under my ass more, because I'm like, oh, this is sick, man. I got all these movies and stuff. I can watch Face Off tonight, and so it was like a mix of like nostalgia and just kind of like, I don't know, just being reintroduced to it and falling in love with it again. And I still have an old like 90s TV in my house too, so I can still have the exact same experience. I still run them through like my HD projector or that 4K TV behind me.
Mm.
But if I really want to go 90s, I can still go 90s in the other room and like
with the tube TV and
with
everything.
the tube TV and like relive the exact same experience. So for me, like part of me like never left like that 90s era, and I can like just revisit it, in the other room with my Laserdisc.
I tried watching a tube TV not too long ago, and just like how much used to like HD I've gotten to, and like didn't really notice until I went back to a tube TV. I'm like, wow, this looks like crap. Like this looks like crap. Like I grew up watching this. Like
it's funny because gamers are really like fetishizing them now, especially those like PVM Sony, the professional grade ones. Like they would use the monitors and in studios and things like that, and they love them, but they're heavy as hell.
Yeah,
and I don't know, man. Yeah, I actually really like when I watch my Laserdisc on this beast behind me. It's just like a cheap TV I got from BJ's, but it's got like really deep black levels, and it doesn't look any worse than it really does in the other room. So the convenience factor of having a flat screen is definitely much nicer. And I love rocking my projector downstairs. But yeah, man, I know dudes that have these TVs that like you need four guys to carry them, and it's like, fuck, man, that's a lot to ask.
Yeah,
I
just got rid of one of my extra TVs. It was just collecting dust in my bedroom, and I wasn't using it, so I was just like, I just gave it to a friend that needed it. I was like, here, have it. Like, I don't need it, but I don't have any tube TVs anymore. I just got my Vizio flat screen, and then I got my monitors on my nice little PC, and that's all I need. So
I guess that's the good news. If like that's your bag, like you can get them for free. Like you can get sick. Like they even had like HD ones. Like there was that crossover period where they had like widescreen tube TVs that had HD, and you can get, nobody's gonna make you pay for them. Just get it out of my house, man.
Oh man. So yeah, we basically covered music and Laserdisc and culture talk, pretty much everything. What are your plans like once phase 3 happens and things kind of calm down a little bit? Like what are your future plans?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, so much of it is like a question mark. I'd love to start rocking with the guys again, but it's like, yeah, I don't know, like, how long it's going to be before I can play out at a club or anything like that.
Mm.
Um, I'd love just to be able to go out and start seeing my friends and everything like that. I don't know if we're going to still like continue our plan of moving out of state or anything like that now, or if we're going to, what we're going to do on that front either. So that's like another big gray area. But I'd love to be able to just kind of find somewhere where I can build myself a proper studio or something like that. Focus more on that aspect of my videos and things like that. We're also be able to jam with the guys again, and just kind of build a new normal.
Mm.
if this isn't the new normal we're living in right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just be able to, even like conventions. And I used to like going to. I used to do the Retro World convention every year usually in October. So it's like I had that to look forward to. So that's obviously not going to happen this year. So I'd like to get back out doing that sort of thing, doing traveling. Like one of the things I want to do is do like a movie or something about all this like video history stuff, and would have to go to California. I would have to go to like there's some places that are like key spots I would have to go. So I'm like, shit, like, can I do that? Like, it's going to be years probably before I can really ramp that up. So,
Yeah.
it's dorky to say, but I'm thinking about writing a book. As I
There's
was,
nothing dorky about that.
yeah, I love it. It's dorky when you don't do it, when you said you were going to do it. That's when it's dorky. Someone's like, "Hey, how's that book going, buddy?" And you're like, But no, I wanted to do a book like that was essentially the same kind of crap that would be in the movie about all this vintage Laserdisc stuff and the media about it. Because a lot of famous people used to collect them, so I thought it'd be fun to, track like Kevin Smith, track him down and get his input on it, and just have like a kind of encyclopedia kind of fun book about all
Mm.
that stuff. So I might start working on that, but of course that's something I can do in the house. We'll see. I'm hoping I can get out of the house at some point and
Yeah.
start digging through crates and playing gigs. But what about you, man?
I don't know, man. Like right now, it's like I'm just focusing on my health. I got my
Yep.
total gym, which is awesome. Like I know the gyms have reopened and everything, but I'm not really in a rush to go back to the gym anytime soon. So I've been like exercising outside, like working out at home, and
That's the other thing about this that like fit my purse. Like I don't really work out that much. Like you've seen me, like shows. I'm kind of blobby, but like I've like lost a lot of weight and like gotten my act together more. Like I don't know, I think it's because there's that structure to my life now that I didn't have before.
mm,
That like I still working full time, but I have lunch to myself. It's like, yeah, I can like work out for a little bit or do something. And
mm.
I started doing like the intermittent fasting like about a year before this dropped, so that started to kind of pay off. And
So
um,
how does that work? Like I hear that term a lot for intermediate fasting. Like do you eat for a certain amount of time
yeah,
during the day
I
and then
do.
stop, or?
Yeah, I do 8 hours a day, and then the other 16, I just don't. I just drink water. You can drink coffee too, as long as it's black, and like that a few other things. But yeah, so you don't intake any sugars or anything like that. But I liked it because I'm not really like a diet guy. I never like chased all the fad diets, and it's not really diet. It's just a timeline, and you can really kind of eat whatever the hell you want in those 8 hours. Like just don't overdo it and like gorge yourself. But it actually gives, I guess, like the idea is it gives your body the time to actually process the food
Mm.
instead of just like fighting a losing battle. And yeah, I actually saw it. Like if I go back and watch my videos from like 2 years ago, I see these big, like giant cheeks and everything like that. I'm like, oh, snap. And I can wear like, I used to always joke with Scotty from, across from Rubicon, because he could like put on medium shirts and shit. I'm like, medium shirts, man. I haven't worn a medium shirt in I don't know how long. And yeah, so I was actually able to put on some mediums the other day, and like I was
Wow.
like, I can actually do this. I'm like, shit. It's actually paying off in some fashion. So yeah, so that's been a positive. I like that.
Yeah, I'd like to go back to a large myself. I'm tired of wearing extra large. So it's just
Yeah, I've
like
been extra large for years, man.
I've got this big upper body, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, which is, it looks okay. It's just
Yeah.
my gut needs to go. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I cut back on my drinking a lot too, because like you know, back I've told the story several times, but I'll tell you because I haven't talked to you in a while. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, with my back issues and everything, I have to keep up with my fitness
Hmm.
because it's the only way of preventing more surgery down the road. But I did have a flare up back in January before COVID hit, and I was literally getting out of my car. I was at the gym, like just
Oh,
getting out of my car, and something popped in my back.
yep.
And I tried doing yoga while I was there to like kind of stretch it out because that usually helps, but nothing was helping. So I was just like, all right, let me at least like get on the treadmill for a little bit, say I did something, and then I'll
Yeah,
go
yeah,
home. By the time I got done with my cardio, I couldn't stand up straight. I was like, okay,
yeah,
something's really wrong here. Like, what the fuck? So I had to call my surgeon. I had to get another MRI done. Thankfully, it was nothing. It's just my spine
yep.
did something and snapped back into place or something, and had to get an injection done. But I was out of work for like a month, and I was
Man,
just laid up, and like, so I was drinking more. I was like miserable, and then I go back to work. And then I'm pretty sure I caught some form of COVID or something
yep.
because like I started coughing a
Mhm.
lot. I had to quarantine for 2 weeks, and then the gym's closed, and then all this other stuff. So I'm like, great, I'm just gonna be putting on weight for the next few months, and this is not what
Yeah,
I wanted. So, but I got real lucky. I found a used Total Gym online from a nice gentleman in Monroe. He
nice.
sold it to me, and I've had it for a couple weeks now. I don't want to say like dieting, but I mean like I've
Yeah,
been just watching what I'm eating. I've
yeah,
been, counting calories a little bit and
yep.
everything. And but I'm also working days right now for the rest of the month, but then I'm going back to nights. So it's going to be kind of hard to
Yeah,
figure stuff out after that. But as far as like future plans go for me, man, I just want to keep going and, either figure out if it's going to be the house I'm going to buy or
yeah.
get out of state too. So I don't know. Like right now it's just doing this podcast and catching up with friends. That's basically it. So,
I hear you. Yeah. Every
um,
day, if that Google Frog on the My Weather app is doing something cool and having a good time, I'm like, all right, cool. One more day, man.
just got to get through, got to keep going. But,
Yeah.
is there anything you want to plug before we finish up here?
I mean, not nothing more than the stuff we already mentioned. Yeah, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/culture dog. If you're into movies and stuff like that, check it out. It's not all Laserdisc. I do a lot of Blu-ray stuff and just general movie stuff. And even if you like the movies I'm talking about, like I did a Back to the Future Laserdisc one recently. So even if you like Back to the Future, you might dig it. And yeah, Sever the Drama's got an album coming at some point, but we'll keep you posted on that. We'll probably launch the website again. I think the website died, but I think we still have like the Bandcamp page, and we're still on Facebook and all that stuff. But and you can check out our old videos and all that. But we got artwork, we got almost the tracks ready, but yeah, hopefully a couple months, maybe something like that.
All right.
We'll drop it.
Well, let me know, and I'll have you come back on, and we'll talk a little bit more about Sever the Drama and the new
Yeah, I'd
stuff.
love to, man.
All right.
Yeah.
As for me, everybody, you can subscribe to the podcast here on YouTube at the Roads We've Traveled podcast with AJ Pelletier. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, or wherever you guys get your podcasts from. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave a review, please. It helps the podcast get noticed by more people. So, and if you guys leave a review, I'll read it on the show. No problem. You can email us at the Roads We've Traveled podcast at gmail.com. If you guys have any stories or comments for guests or questions or whatever, let me know. I'll be sure to read that on the air too, or reach out to guests as well. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Roads We've Traveled podcast. And check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/JR Gaming. I just played some Cards Against Humanity last night with Nob from OFNR and
Nice.
Doug from Fear of the Masses and a few other people. We're probably going to be playing
I
again tonight.
miss Doug. Tell him I said hi.
I will. I told him last night that I was interviewing
Yeah.
you. He was like, "Oh man, I haven't talked to Sam in forever. Tell him I said hi." I'm like,
It's
"Oh
been too
yeah,
long.
absolutely, yeah." So be sure to tune in. Twitch.tv/JR Gaming. Subscribe, please. That would help me out a lot. And check out my portfolio at www.alanm@pelletierjr.com. If you guys need commission work done or video work done, let me know. I'd be happy
Yeah, we
to
might
help
bug you, man.
All right, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm all over it, man.
We need a lyric video at some point, I bet. So
Yeah, let me know, man.
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy to help you guys out.
All right, cool.
Yeah, Sam, this was a pleasure, man. Like it's been far
Absolutely.
too long, and I'm glad you're doing well. And give my best to your
Thanks.
wife and everything. And
We'll
hope to
do.
see you down the road sometime soon, so we could have
Yeah,
a
man. Like
drink or
actually,
something.
maybe at somebody's house or at a venue or something where we can chill.
Yeah,
And yeah,
grab a beer or something and
yeah.
just chill. So, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks. Cheers, man.
Cheers.